astrologers all over the world have been talking about this month for quite a long time, including me. So why are we discussing it and what's happening? And a lot of people have asked. Well, today, February 13th, Saturn, the planet of responsibility, tradition, commitment, government. Saturn is the government, it's structure. Saturn has been in the sign of Pisces for 2.5 years. It takes 29 years to go around our solar system. And today, tonight, this evening, it's going out of Pisces. Now, Saturn being a concrete, hard, disciplined, structured sign, Pisces is the softest, foggiest of all the signs. So Saturn for the last 2.5 years has been much softer on structure and hard lines. Now Saturn's going into Aries, which is a fire sign, and things are going to pick up. Speed's going to pick up. Intensity is going to pick up. And people are going to make decisions. They're going to start to move forward. So it isn't just one day. It's just beginning. Tomorrow is our big Aries day. And then, of course, today's the 13th. On the 17th, we have the solar eclipse, and I'm going to show you that. So let me bring up that chart. And let me make that big. Hang on, here we go. There we go. Well, here's our solar eclipse, February 17th, 2026. In Eastern Standard Time, it'll be at 7 in the morning. And so the solar eclipse, we have solar eclipse, we have eclipse seasons twice a year. You have a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. It's when new moons and full moons line up with the nodal axis of the moon, and we get a flat plane and we get a shadow, which is what the word eclipse means, to be hidden. This is significant for our country because the solar eclipse for the entire world is at 28 Aquarius in 50 minutes. In Washington, D.C., that's where I set the chart, it will be right on the ascendant horizon of the and what you in mundane astrology, we always set our chart for the head of the capital of the country, because that's the seat of the people. So we have that 28 Aquarius is the ascendant in Washington. So the solar eclipse is smack dab on, headed over Washington, which is going to highlight. We're going to be at focus for the entire world because that solar eclipse is going to light us up. That's what's going to happen. So the big thing about this eclipse, it's Aquarian. Aquarian is humanity, big world, progressive, big community, world community. It's a very worldly. But the planet that rules Aquarius is Uranus, and it's in an exact square. So that's why everybody's predicting chaos, confusion, restlessness. And we certainly have been in it for the last 3 months, and we will be for the next 3 months. But it's a time of change, and it's a time of new. So nothing's stable, nothing's fixed, and nothing's glued down right now. So be aware of that. Stand back, observe, and we'll let this play out. So we do have a solar eclipse. The other thing that's in this chart, which is quite interesting, Saturn and Neptune. Saturn's a 29-year orbit. Neptune has a 165-year orbit. And they've been riding together at the end of Pisces. Like I said, that's a watery, soft, visionary sign. And now they're moving into Aries. So as of tonight, when Saturn moves into Aries, Neptune just crossed over 2 weeks ago, and now Saturn's there. And on February 20th, Saturn and Neptune will be exact. But that's to the minute. They're already on the same degree and talking to each other. So Saturn structure, Neptune the dissolver. We have a dissolving of structure. And like I said, everybody's saying, oh, this is a whole new world. It's because Saturn and Neptune conjunct sometime around every 35 to 36 years, depending upon how fast they are at that moment. But this is the first time in 6,000 years that Saturn and Neptune have conjuncted at 0 Aries, which is the world point, the beginning of the zodiac. And so it's heralding a new change, a bigger change. So we have the Saturn Neptune occurring at the same time as the solar eclipse. So obviously, it's tumultuous because Uranus is involved, and it's changed, and the whirlwind is coming. So we're going to be living in this for the next 6 months. This is not a day. Solar eclipses throughout history have been studied for thousands of years. And so they're worldly points. We see them, they're worldly events. So we're going to watch between now and August and see what this eclipse does stir up, because it's going to bring it's going to bring change. And where Neptune just changed sign, which it hadn't, that's 100, it won't be back to Pisces for 150 years. And then you have Saturn going into Aries. It was there probably 28, 29 years ago. But the planet Uranus that rules this eclipse in April will be going into Gemini for 4 years. And so we're looking for change. All of these heavy planets are changing sign. So the energy is shifting. And that's what everybody's in such crazy chaos over. So we have an eclipse. We have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. We have, and it just so happens that the Chinese New Year's is on the 17th because it's the second new moon after the winter solstice, which is what Chinese New Year is, which happens to be this solar eclipse. And so we're going into the year of the fire horse. Independent, strong, move forward, fiery energy. So now, the other thing that's happening this spring, in every spring on March 20th, or 21st, we have what they call the Aries ingress. That's when the sun returns to 0 Aries in 0 minutes. That's the mark of the new year. Pythagoras established our zodiac around 500 BC, and he established that when the sun come north by declination of our latitude to the eclipse, to the equator. And so you have the ecliptic of the sun meeting the equator, and when the horizon hits it, we end up with 0 Aries, and it is. Now, wherever you are in the world, this is the beginning of the zodiac new year. And so we study that to say, where's the emphasis? Well, this year, obviously, there's a lot of planets in Aries, all the Aries at the same time. Aries is independent, new, action, the initiator, indicating a very strong. The sun's always at 0 Aries in spring. That's what the spring equinox is. But we have it's occurring on a new moon in Aries. So there's a strong emphasis with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in Aries. There are 10. 5 of the 10 planets are in Aries. So this is very important. Mars, the ruler of Aries, will be still back in Pisces. So, and for the next few weeks, even though we're starting new, Mars, the action planet for Aries, is still back in Pisces, soft and cleanup. So we're still cleaning up old stuff. And so all the way into spring, we are still in cleanup. Mars at the end of April or mid-April will go into Aries. Then you're going to see, so if you're really wanting to kick things off and really start things up, wait until Mars enters Aries, and all these we'll have a lot of other things in Aries at the time. In April, we have a huge lineup of Aries planets. But that's when Mars moves into Aries, that will be the kickoff. So we're looking at all this. And of course, many of the astrologers are talking about July, that it's all going to really peak and come to fruition in July. All of the heavy planets will be at 4 degrees and they'll all be talking to each other. And so that when they set up a pattern, and it's like being on a CB radio, you've got all the heavy hitters on the call. And so they're communicating. So there's a lot more energy that comes to bear. So let me say it to you this way. That which we see formulating in February, March, April, we will see actually happening in July. So we're going to sit back and we're going to watch, and we're watching a shift. We're watching a shift on the planet, and how things play and how things are going to go. So your call to action for this is let us not, Saturn can be judgment, and Neptune can be fear. We can have lots of judgment and fear, and we don't want the low end of this energy. We want to go to the high end. So I'm asking you to be a contributor to the high end. And if you've been watching the internet at all and the Walk of the Monks, it's an absolute beautiful journey. They've just arrived in Washington, D.C., and there are thousands that have come to stand with them, and it's beautiful. And a small band of peaceful warriors have marched for peace. And so let us focus on that. Let us try to be part of the peace. Let us try to be part of the higher energy. And so let Saturn create new structure and Neptune create spiritual vision. Let's go to the high end of the energy. The other thing in this eclipse that is powerful, Venus, the planet of love and harmony, is exactly conjunct the north node of new beginnings. And so it is an opportunity, if we can get focused on the love and the harmony, to avoid all the judgment and fear that some people are feeding. So be careful. Thoughts are things. Energy follows intent. So pay attention to what you're focusing on and what you're contributing to. So this was a quick update to let you guys know that what we've been talking about, we've arrived. So you guys have a good spring, and I'll catch up with you in the summer. God bless.